Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be talking some Star Wars, and we all know that this should probably be a very unifying conversation because everyone in the Star Wars community is extremely unifying. We don't argue and debate and just trash each other over absolutely nothing. That never happens at all. So it should be a great conversation. Well, today we're going to be ranking all the Star Wars movies from the worst to the best. I'm talking the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and then Solo and Rogue One. So we have 11 movies total that we're going to be ranking. But before we get to that, make sure to like and subscribe. And let me know down in the comments what your ranking is. I'm sure we're all going to agree, so this should all probably look pretty similar. But let me know anyway so we can look, compare, contrast, and debate down in the comments. Now, let's get to the first movie. Now, the first movie that I have on my list, the absolute worst Star Wars movie of all time. And it's not even really close. There's really no debate about this. And that movie is The Last Jedi. I don't think there was a redeeming quality to this movie. It was just garbage from beginning to end. The plot was terrible. Like, everything about this movie was terrible. Like, I mean, I don't know really much to say. Like, they made Luke Skywalker to be just a little, disgusting whatever he was in this movie, and they just broke away from what Star Wars truly is. And part of this is, like, we had multiple different directors for these movies, which makes no sense. Like, you have a director for the first movie and then a different director for the second, and we were supposed to have a third director for the third movie, and luckily that changed and we got J.J. Abrams back for the third one, and I use that very loosely, thanks. But it just didn't make any sense. There was no cohesion or an overall plot that they were looking to tell. It was just kind of like 3 directors, 3 movies, kind of do your own thing and hope that it all comes together in one cohesive story. Didn't happen. This movie was the worst of the bunch, so it's just terrible. I hate it. Now, that moves me on to number 10. And at number 10 is a movie that is slightly above The Last Jedi. And that movie is Solo. I absolutely hated Solo. I've only seen it twice. I watched it the first time and I hated it. I watched it a second time just to make sure that I hated it, and I hated it. So I'm a huge Han Solo fan. I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan. And this movie just did a disservice to the entire character of Han Solo in my eyes. And I just didn't like it whatsoever. So because of that, I don't think this movie is very good at all. It's still, I would say, far better than The Last Jedi, but that's not really saying much, but it's just bad all around. Now, at number 9, I have The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I think not most people, but some people would have The Rise of Skywalker last on their list. That some people hate this movie overall. And was it a good movie? No. But I think J.J. Abrams did the best he possibly could at redeeming the storyline overall for this sequel trilogy. And was it good? No. But I do think he did the best that he could with what he had to work with. And this is what happens when you don't have a plan in place for a movie trilogy and you just say, hey, just go do what you want to do and hope for the best. So it's bad. I do think it's better than several people probably think that it is. I did think there was a couple decent parts to it, not many, but this whole sequel trilogy was terrible. Should never have been made. Disney is just awful at making Star Wars. The next movie on this list is The Force Awakens, and I'm an idiot and forgot to add it when I did my list, so I had to add it in post-production. That's why you can't see me. This movie was pretty basic. It was the best of the sequel trilogy, but it was just basic all the way around. And Han Solo died. I'm a huge Han Solo fan, and he died. It made me super sad. So it was the best of a bad series, but it's still a bad movie overall, and just basic and boring. Now we move on to our first movie from the prequel trilogy, and that is Attack of the Clones. Now, I think this movie was the absolute worst of the sequel or the prequel trilogy. I know people hate on the prequel trilogy, especially the first 2 movies, but I think this one was the worst of them all. I think it had the weakest storyline. It had the weakest battles and lightsaber duels. It was uninteresting. It was kind of boring, and I just don't think it was very good. I don't know what George Lucas really was thinking in this one, but like I say, it's significantly better than the sequel trilogy, but it's still a pretty poor movie overall. Now to number 6, we have the Phantom Menace. Now, I myself personally like the Phantom Menace more than a lot of people probably do. I think that this movie had potentially one of the best soundtracks in Star Wars, and it had potentially one of the, if not the best lightsaber duel in Star Wars. Duel of the Fates is an amazing song. It really just tugs at the emotion, and that scene between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul, like this was the first awesome, epic lightsaber battle that we've had in Star Wars. We had some minor lightsaber battles in the original trilogy, but in this one, like this was like full, all out, awesome lightsaber duel, and I think because of that, it ranks a little bit higher in my heart. Like I say, I grew up on Star Wars from the very beginning in the original trilogy, and then so in this one, seeing that type of action play out and seeing that type of lightsaber duel like really resonated with me, and I really like this movie a lot more than probably most people. But again, it's still overall, it's a bit cringy and it's still not the greatest. So I have it at number 6, right in the middle. And I do believe that those 6 movies are probably in the bottom 6 of everyone's ranking. People may move them around a little bit, but I think there is a distinct cut between those 6 and the other 5 that we have to rank. And I think most people would have all 6 of those in their bottom 6, and everyone's going to have the same top 5 as I do today. And at number 5, I have Return of the Jedi. Now, Return of the Jedi was my absolute favorite movie of Star Wars growing up as a kid, and I could probably quote the movie word for word from beginning to end. I had watched it so many times. I've easily watched Return of the Jedi 150 times. No doubt. It could be even more than that. But as I have grown up and gotten older and matured, and my taste in movies has changed a little bit, and it's no longer my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. It's good. I really enjoy it still. I do think it's, of the original trilogy, it's the weakest of the 3, but it's still really good, and I really like it. Which leads us to number 4. And number 4, I have A New Hope. The movie that kicked it all off. It started it all off. I think this movie is really good. If anything, I would say to give it any drawback is this just not a whole lot of action in this movie, but I think it does tell a great story, and there's not much to really nitpick about. It's a good, solid movie, really good, really enjoyed it. But again, it's really splitting hairs on this top 5 of where they rank. I mean, it's hard to sometimes differentiate between the two because they're all really good movies in the top 5. And not saying that they're bad, but you have to put them in a ranking somehow. At number 3, I have Rogue One. I thought this was a fantastic movie. It's clearly the best thing that Disney has ever done with Star Wars. And I wish they would get back to making Star Wars movies like this. I thought Rogue One was just fantastic. The story they told was great. It led right into A New Hope, which was awesome. That scene at the end of the movie with Darth Vader is sick. It's so awesome. It just brought back so much memories, and just had that yearning for more great Star Wars. And unfortunately, we haven't really gotten any more great Star Wars after this. But that's at number 3 on my list. I really love this movie. Number 2, I have Empire Strikes Back. And I know there's probably a lot of people who are going to have Empire at number 1, but I do think that, again, we're splitting hairs here. It's probably more of a 1A and 1B, but I really love Empire Strikes Back. We get to meet Yoda for the first time. It's a fantastic movie. I love it, but it's going to come in at number 2 on my list. And number 1 is Revenge of the Sith. I really like this movie. I think it's fantastic. I think it tells a great story in this movie and wraps up the story of the original trilogy. We see the fall of Anakin Skywalker into the turn of Darth Vader. And it's a thing that we all knew what was going to happen, but yet we were all just glued to this movie and wanting to see it actually play out on screen. I think they did a great job. The battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar was fantastic. And this movie is, I would say, it's pretty flawless for the most part. Again, most of these movies in the top 5 that I've here are pretty flawless, but for me, this is my absolute favorite of all time. And yeah, so that's my top 11 Star Wars movies from worst to best. Let me know again what your ranking is down in the comments. We can discuss, compare, contrast, argue, debate, whatever you want to do. I want to hear from you. So make sure to subscribe. We have a lot of awesome stuff coming in the next weeks and months. We got a movie review of The Amateur coming on Friday. You're not going to want to miss that. And I will see each and every one of you in the next video. Have a great day.